I think we can dig deeper in that direction, Laith, which means, in my opinion, that the Zionism is beyond the Jewish people. It's going to, you see the Christian Zionists are so much, and look at and the problem, Laith, with these people, with the Zionists, and they're mostly powerful. They're so wealthy and powerful that they can influence each and every community within the Western, Western countries. This is, but the shift is happening, Laith. Don't you think that the shift is coming? It's happening as we talk. In the United States, we had, you know, among the, you look at the polls, even within the Jewish community, we had 60% of the people, Jewish Americans, they believe what Israel is doing in Gaza is genocide. These are huge numbers coming out. And the problem, Laith, is something beyond that. The Zionism is just, I would, we have, Laith, don't you think that within the Arab states, we have the people who are Muslims, who declare themselves as Muslims, but they pursue the Zionism in the region?
Yes. So this is very important discussion, what you're talking about here, Nima. And let's be very clear. Zionist Christian or Zionist Muslim is heresy, both to Christianity and Islam. There's no such thing. Those who call themselves Zionist Muslim are actually liars. They're not Muslim. They like to be slaves. Why I would say this? Because if, let's say, you're a Christian, you believe that God sent Jesus because people went astray. Okay, and in reality, Christianity is a reformation of Judaism. And the point of where we went astray that Jesus tells us before him is this idea of chosen people. He came and said, "You're all my children, and I'm a Messiah. I'm a wiper of your sin. Masih is a wiper of the sin, the Messiah. I wipe all your sin before. From this point on, remember that we all come from one mother and one father, Adam and Eve." And Islam sees itself as that also, a reformation of people going astray. So for a Muslim to say I'm a Zionist, that means they don't believe in God the most merciful. When we say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim at the beginning of every time we open the Quran, you say in the name of God the most merciful. No. God is a vengeful God. And we're not all from Adam and Eve. We're not all one humanity, one peoplehood. Doesn't matter your race, your color, your whatever language. No. There's a chosen people. And we are all their slaves. So this is actually what the Abrahamic Accord means. The Abrahamic Accord means that Muslims must denounce their own prophets, denounce their own holy book, and say Judaism is right, there's a chosen people, and we are not that. Okay, and this is the same for Christianity. If you call yourself a Zionist Christian, it means you're a heretic. You are a heretic, and you are actually anti-God, the most merciful, the most loving. Okay, so this is happening, and this is why we see right now that whole campaign with hundreds of millions of dollars that the Israelis just launched to geo-fence churches in the United States, where they're going to track every person that enters a church and target them with ads wherever they go from that point, and draw out a whole map of their life in order to propagandize them with Zionism. Because most people, even in the United States, they don't really like that are Christian or Muslim, or they don't, declare themselves, I'm from this or that sect. So you just walk into a mosque and you pray in it, or you walk into a church and you pray in it. So the that feeling of faith is contradictory to this supremacy that is being proposed in Zionism and the self-humiliation. If you say, I am a Christian Zionist, you're basically what Trump said in the Knesset about his daughter, Ivanka. He said his daughter doesn't believe in Jesus anymore. He said his daughter believes in those words of Jewish supremacy. Okay, so that's where we at. And most people are awakening to this, finally. And so we have to be very clear. Look, even forget religion. An Arabic person who does signs peace deal with the Zionist colony, like Jordan, like Egypt, what does that mean? That means you're admitting as an Arabic person that you are a colonizer. And that this filth coming from Poland, Bulgaria, and Ukraine are the indigenous people. And 2,000 years ago, I'm a descendant of colonizers. That's what it means. Accepting Zionism for an Arabic person, means accepting that we are colonizers and they are the indigenous. Accepting Zionism by a Muslim or a Christian means that you are admitting that your religion, your prophets, and your God are liars. And there's only one true faith, and that is Judaism. And there's only one master race, the master race, the chosen people. And I agree to be not part of them, but to be their slaves. That is what means for any human being who is not Jewish to accept Zionism.
Laith, part of the discussion right now in the United States, Donald Trump came out, said that if they don't, he's talking about Hamas, that if they don't disarm, we're gonna do it. Are they preparing for if they get the prisoners and all these, the first step, being finalized? Are they gonna, make some sort of new motives, new reasons to go again in Gaza and uh, starting and restarting, reactivating the genocide? What is your
Yeah.
take on that? Because if you are Donald Trump and you're interested in, that's you're interested in, to put an end to what was happening before, and you put yourself in a position that there is no, exit with that position, because when you talk about disarming Hamas, everybody knows that that would not happen. It doesn't matter how many times you're going to reiterate what you're talking about. What is that? What is that in your understanding?
Look, it's clear that this war is not over. And I think we heard many statements from, Witkoff, Huckleberry, the ambassador in Jerusalem, and the special envoy Thomas Barak over the last 6-9 months, that made it very clear. The administration in Washington is not interested, and finally is actually telling the truth. This is a struggle of decolonization in Palestine. It's actually what we've seen over the last 2 years and maybe the last 15, 20 years in this whole region is the exact kind of mass genocide, mass death on a scale that hasn't happened in such ways since the colonizations of the Americas. Okay. Palestine was going to be liberated as long as there's one Palestinian. It would be liberated, no longer how much it took. Why? Because Palestinians are just part of the Arabic peoples, okay? And the Arabic people would have fought eventually, like after the Crusaders ethnically cleansed and genocided Lebanon and Palestine, the rest of the Arabic world liberated Palestine and Lebanon and repopulated it, okay? As long as there's one Arabic person who still has honor, eventually there will be a fight back. So the West understood, seeing that the Palestinians are not giving up, that the path forward is either total genocide or forced submission. This is what Barak said. There will be only one party that submits and one party that dominates. There will be no peace even after the submission, because there will be always somebody that puts their head up and fights this, no matter how small, no matter how individual it is. Even if every Arabic state is defeated, and every Arabic and Muslim people, even if Iran is defeated and occupied, there will be some Arabic or Muslim person somewhere that is crazy enough to actually love themselves and refuse slavery. And they just, boom, take out a few Israelis with them. Next day, the American empire bombs a village of a country that they occupied, punishment, and that will go on. So what we see is classic colonialism of the 1700s, the kind that we haven't seen in photography and film before. It's such brazen also, not only in the size of the crime, but in the how open it is. Okay, it's openly, the West is saying, we're willing to kill you all if you don't submit to the right of the Zionist colony to exist, and if you do not admit that all of your religions and history are a lie, and your gods are liars, and you are less than. If you don't admit that, we will kill you. This is the kind of colonialism that we're living right now.
Laith, Yemen is not going to be tricked by these moves. And they said that they're prepared, they're getting prepared and getting more prepared for if something happens in Gaza, in Palestine. And how soon that would happen? How soon? And is just about Yemen, or you see other parts of resistance getting prepared for that moment?
I think all of the axis of resistance is getting prepared for a new round of this war. Just like in Lebanon here, the Hezbollah and the coalition that it has of resistance groups have taken the last 9 months as a period to reorganize, restructure, rearm. And we see that probably is going to start immediately right now in Gaza. And I'm sure 100% that the resistance is attempting to smuggle weapons to Gaza as we speak right now. Okay. And that Iran is also right now ready to even probably do a preemptive attack. Because if we look at the history, by the way, of the struggle against the Zionist colony in the region, the only wars that were total, almost successful, were when Israel is taken by surprise. 1973, 2006, 2023. And so if Iran actually goes on a surprise attack, it may have a huge success. The other thing is clearly Yemen will be the first to come to the defense of Gaza if there is a return to full hostilities, which is very expected because the operations of the Zionist colony and the West against Yemen are the least cost effective or least goal capable in Yemen, because they don't have that much intelligence. It's not a huge country like Iran that you can just throw things and things will blow up. It's very a geography that is different and is far. Point is here, I think the war is coming back. Things may be a little bit different this time for multiple reasons. Not only the weapons that we will see Iran using or Hezbollah if it comes back, the war to Lebanon, which is also very expected, but also because of those restrictions that China just put on the rare earths. And that's something that, in my mind, for 2 years, I didn't understand why China didn't do anything, neither to limit its trade with the Zionist colony itself or to throw around its weight to, against people who are supplying the Zionist colony with weapons. We now know that with this one stroke of a pen, China is bringing to a halt the whole production cycle of smart weapons that the West has, the GBUs, the F-35s, the submarines, the destroyers. They're all right now. The whole production cycle of that has been ground to a halt with one signature by China. China could have done this 2 years ago, and maybe the United States and the West wouldn't have enough weapons to send to the Zionists to have dropped 12 nuclear explosions worth of GBUs over Gaza, or the weapons that they use in Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, Iraq, and Iran. Hundreds of people, hundreds of thousands of people would have been saved if China did this 2 years ago. But let's see, maybe now China is realizing that with the West feeling more adventurous and feeling like it destroyed the whole Western Asia, that it can now concentrate on China, maybe that woke them up to take this seriously. And that shows you also what needs to happen in this world, in this new world that we're trying to envision, that is multipolar. It doesn't help this new multipolar world if we just sing its praises without envisioning what we want from this new multipolar world. We need a China and a Russia and a Brazil and an India and an Iran and a Venezuela that are all working together to limit the power of the empire ruled either from Tel Aviv or Washington, D.C., which we still haven't decided.